Post says the Delta variant of COVID-19 spreads as easily as chickenpox. Dr. Shi Jia with Brown University tells ABC News.
The bottom line from this CDC report is while this variant may be extremely transmissible and probably more deadly, the vaccines are still working really, really well.
President Biden announced Thursday every federal employee who is not vaccinated will be required to wear a mask and subject to more frequent testing. He also said that moving forward,
since many vaccinations are required for active duty military today, I'm asking the Defense Department to look into how and when they will add COVID-19 to the list of vaccinations the armed forces must get.
He encouraged states and municipalities to offer $100 incentives for people who get vaccinated. The nationwide moratorium on evictions expires this weekend. An act of Congress is required for an extension. Democrats in the House are working towards passing a measure before they go on recess. Democratic Senator Bob Casey of Pennsylvania says he would support it.
I believe we've got to give people relief because of the predicament that the pandemic and a terrible economy for the last couple of months.
It's a new home for 200 Afghan translators who worked alongside U.S. personnel in Afghanistan. The first flight has arrived in the U.S. as part of a group that received special immigrant visas. At the Olympics, American swimmer Ryan Murphy discussing doping after he finished second to Russia's Evgeny Rylov in the 200-meter backstroke. Asked if the race was clean.
I can't answer that question. I don't know if it was 100% clean, and that's because of things that have happened over the past.
Athletes from Russia not allowed to compete under the Russian flag as punishment for past offenses. You're listening to ABC News.
If you have unfiled taxes or are in debt to the IRS, this is important news. The IRS just rolled out a new program to help struggling taxpayers more easily resolve their tax problems. It's called the Taxpayer Relief Initiative, and it opens up powerful new options for people looking to get back on the right track with the IRS. And no one knows this program like the professionals at Optima Tax Relief, America's most trusted tax resolution company. They've resolved over $1 billion in tax debt for their clients and have the expertise and experience to help you. One easy call to Optima can start the process, helping to put an end to your worries of wage garnishment, asset seizure, and other aggressive IRS actions. Make today the beginning of your fresh start with the IRS. Call the experts at Optima Tax Relief now for your free confidential consultation.
Call 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
A fight over one of the biggest movies in the world and how it was released. ABC's Jason Nathanson has that story from Hollywood.
Thursday, Black Widow star Scarlett Johansson sued Disney over the release of the Marvel movie, saying streaming it on Disney Plus and in theaters was a breach of contract that potentially cost her a lot of money. Disney now says there's no merit to the lawsuit, and its release streaming on Disney Plus has significantly enhanced her ability to earn more money on top of the $20 million she's already been paid. Disney also calls the lawsuit sad and distressing in its callous disregard for the horrific and prolonged global effects of the COVID-19 pandemic. Disney is the parent company of ABC News. Jason Nathanson, ABC News, Hollywood.
President Biden meets with governors today to talk about ways to prevent wildfires and respond better to fires that do break out. Dozens are burning across several Midwestern states now, including the Bootleg Fire in Oregon out west that's burned more than 413,000 acres and is just over 50% contained. A member of the crew of the USS Bonhomme Richard, the Navy ship destroyed by fire last year in San Diego, is now accused of setting that fire. And food delivery platform Grubhub is now accused of overcharging restaurants at the height of the coronavirus pandemic. The Massachusetts Attorney General says the company violated a temporary 15% cap on fees by charging 18% or more. Grubhub denies doing anything wrong. This is ABC News.
Think about it. The pandemic's reminded us that the nose is your body's filter against a constant invasion of airborne germs. But like any filter, the more it's clogged up, the less it works. Now it's easy to clean your nose with Navage. Navage uses powered suction to flush out germs that cause congestion, or worse, can make you very sick. People love Navage. It has 4.7 stars with over 70,000 online reviews. Go to Navage.com or find Navage at Walgreens, CVS, Rite Aid, Target, Bed Bath, and select Walmarts.
Brian Clark, ABC News.
The reasons more and more people are coming to NC Tractor to do business are the selection of Massey Ferguson tractors, Bobcat zero-turn mowers, fantastic customer service, and the special Phil Sheehan seasonal discounts. NC Tractor on Railroad Avenue in Rutherford is making dreams come true for folks who want the rest.
Good morning, everyone. We made it to a Friday, and it's a warm and humid start to your day. This afternoon, our temperatures hot again with highs in the low to mid-90s. Many of us under a heat advisory for today, with heat index values ranging from 100 to 107 degrees this afternoon. Stray showers and storms will pop up for today. Some of those had that chance to be strong to severe. Dry overnight tonight. Stray shower and storm chance also in the forecast on Saturday. More rain on Sunday. I'm meteorologist Zach Malak in the Weather Center.
And we're starting out warm here in Rutherford, 77 degrees right now. Get up to about 95, possibly 96 with our temperature reading. But the heat index around here, around the Rutherford area, about 101, possibly 102. Chance of precip today at only about 30%. Please watch out for that high humidity and warm temperature. It's 7:06, and I have these death announcements this morning. Alan Eugene Terry, age 61, of Ellenboro, died Wednesday, July 28th at his residence. The funeral service will be conducted at 3 o'clock Sunday, August 1st at Souls Harbor Tabernacle in Mooresboro. Burial will follow in the church cemetery. Family will receive friends 1 hour prior to service time at the church, and Harrelson Funeral and Cremation Services entrusted with those arrangements for Alan Eugene Terry. Kate Edwards, age 71, of Forest City, passed away Wednesday at her residence. A celebration of Kate's life will be held at a later date, and Harrelson Funeral and Cremation Services entrusted with those arrangements for Kate Edwards of Forest City. Robert Bob John Thomas, 70, of Rutherfordton, passed away July 12th. And the Mass of Christian burial will be held Saturday, July 31st at Immaculate Conception Catholic Church at 11 o'clock. The family requests, in lieu of flowers, donation be made to hospice. The Pageant and King Mortuary and Crematory serving the family of Robert Bob John Thomas. Billy Joe Carl, age 49, of Forest City, passed away Thursday at Spartanburg Regional Medical Center. The funeral service will be conducted at 3 o'clock Sunday, July 31st at the Harrelson Funeral Chapel. The family will receive friends 1 hour prior to service time at the funeral home. Harrelson Funeral and Cremation Services entrusted with those arrangements for Billy Joe Carl. Betty P. Forbes, 80, of the Cane Creek community, died Wednesday, July 28th. A more complete obituary will be posted later this afternoon, and those arrangements are being handled by Washburn and Dorsey Funeral and Cremation Service for Betty P. Forbes. Perry Landrum Russ, age 78, of Rutherfordton, passed away July 29th at his home. At his request, all services will be private, and Crow's Mortuary is assisting the family of Perry Landrum Russ. Keith Raymond Dobbins, age 78, of Mooresboro, passed away Sunday, July 25th at his home. The family will receive friends from 6 until 8 o'clock this evening at Eggers Funeral Home of Cliffside. The funeral service will be 2 p.m. Saturday, July 31st at Trinity Baptist Church in Mooresboro. Burial will be in the Trinity Baptist Church Cemetery with military honors given by the Rutherford County Honor Guard. Eggers Funeral Home of Cliffside, serving the family of Keith Raymond Dobbins. Osteen Teen Norville Sanders, age 82, of Cliffside, passed away Saturday at Accordius Health in Rutherfordton. The family will receive friends from 11 until 12 today at Cliffside Baptist Church. The funeral service will be following at 12 noon at the church. Masks are optional while attending the service. Burial will be private for the family, and Eggers Funeral Home of Cliffside, serving the family of Osteen Teen Norville Sanders. James Paul Davidson, age 44, of Inman, passed away Tuesday in Inman. The family will receive friends from 1 until 2 today at Poors Ford Baptist Church. From 2 until 3, there will be a gathering at Poors Ford Baptist Church for family and friends to share memories of Paul. Burial will be at Poors Ford Baptist Church Cemetery. McMahon's Funeral Home and Cremation Service in charge of those arrangements for James Paul Davidson. Creed Jackson, 82, died July 27th at his home in Union Mills. Funeral service will be held 2 o'clock today at Piney Knob Baptist Church. Burial will follow at Welcome Home Baptist Church, Union Mills, with military honors provided by the Rutherford County Veterans Honor Guard. Family will receive friends from 1 o'clock until 1:50 prior to the service at Piney Knob Baptist Church. Crow's Mortuary is assisting the family of Creed Jackson. Thomas E. Morrow passed away July 20th at the age of 93 in Wilmington. Family and friends are invited to a graveside service today at 10 o'clock at Eternal Hills Memorial Park. The Pageant King Mortuary and Crematory in charge of those arrangements for Thomas E. Morrow. Judy Ann Starnes Connor, age 74, of Rutherfordton, died Wednesday at Rutherford Regional Medical Center. Funeral services will be 11 o'clock Saturday, July 31st at Crow's Funeral Chapel. Burial will follow in Rutherford County Memorial Cemetery. The family will receive friends from 10 until 11 Saturday prior to the service. Crow's Mortuary is assisting the family of Judy Ann Starnes Connor.
Filling in for Bill O'Reilly. On this Friday morning, I am thinking about 3 science questions. Number 1, how many people have been hospitalized with COVID or because of COVID? It's a major difference. A kid breaks his arm, goes to the hospital, gets a COVID test, tests positive, didn't even know he had it. That kid is counted as a COVID hospitalization. UC San Francisco study found that the number of kids hospitalized because of COVID has been inflated by 40%. Leaked data from the National Health Service in England found that 53% of COVID hospitalizations were people who were hospitalized for other reasons, didn't even know they had it. Why are people not being more specific about this? They're manipulating you. Second question, with COVID tests, we are still not talking about cycle thresholds. This is how many cycles the PCR test has to go through in order to find COVID. If the test only has to do 10 cycles, then holy cow, you have a ton of COVID. But if the test has to do 30 or 40 cycles, you barely have it. You're not spreading it, you're fine. But everyone, no matter how many cycles the test has to go through, even with the smallest trace amounts of COVID, it gets listed as COVID positive. That's deceitful. And finally, no one's talking about natural immunity. No politician is saying, hey, before you get the vaccine, why don't you go get blood, get an antibody test, see if you have antibodies already. Those are 3 genuine, decent, honest questions about COVID. And no politicians are giving us answers. Why not? It's because they don't want you to have proper perspective, because proper perspective brings peace. And they want you to live in fear. More after this.
Investors, Bill O'Reilly here. Are you sitting on capital or wanting to diversify? The NRIA Real Estate Development Fund provides returns right now. They capitalize on strategic markets. They offer payouts of 10% annualized returns plus bonuses up to 21%. They are a 15-year industry leader who have seen it all. Start your due diligence at nria.net or call 800-800-1414. That's easy. 800-800-1414.
An offer of securities is only made by the NRIA Private Placement Memorandum. Read it first. Past performance does not guarantee future results. NRIA is a real estate development firm. Learn more at nria.net.
I'm Mike Slater, MikeSlater.locals.com. This has been the O'Reilly Update, Morning Edition.
WCAB, Rutherfordton.
Good morning. Good morning.
I'll be here to hear what's on your mind.
Kids want to share what's going on in their lives with the adults around them. Parents, grandparents, teachers, coaches, and more. They want to know you're listening, and they want to listen to you. They want your input and guidance, early and often, on all kinds of topics. When it comes to a serious subject like underage drinking, they want to know your expectations, as well as how and why, as a young person, they should avoid alcohol. How you talk about it will change as your child grows, but the important thing is to talk about it. Not just once for an hour when you think the time is right, but in 60 one-minute conversations and more that are part of your everyday talks. For more information about talking with your kids about underage use of alcohol and other drugs, visit underagedrinking.samhsa.gov.
When you need me, I'll be by your side.
In 1876, Wyatt Earp became a policeman in Dodge City, Kansas. A fellow policeman was Jim Masterson, Bat's brother. On July 26, 1878, Wyatt and Jim were patrolling the streets. At about 3 o'clock in the morning, 3 cowboys, after picking up their pistols on their way out of town, passed by the local dance hall. Thinking it would be a great joke, they fired several shots into the dance hall. Wyatt and Jim rushed to where the action was taking place. The cowboys immediately turned the guns on Wyatt and Jim. Had they not been plastered, the Cowboys would have realized that up until then, what they had done would have just gotten them run out of town. However, with lead coming their way, both lawmen started shooting back. The Cowboys made it to their horses, and as they rode away, both Wyatt and Jim emptied their pistols in their direction. Thinking they had missed, the policeman started walking away when George Hoy, one of the Cowboys, fell from his saddle. Hoy had been shot in the arm. Hoy was taken to the doctor and then jail. Unfortunately for him, infection set into the wound, and he died 4 weeks later. Many historians credit Wyatt for the kill, even though, with lead flying, it couldn't be positively determined if Wyatt or Jim's bullet had done the damage. And with Hoy dying from what could have been considered a minor wound, quite possibly it was the doctor that did the killing. But then, as far as George Hoy is concerned, no matter who did the killing, the results were the same. You've just heard another story from Old West Radio. I'm Dakota Livesay.
For a rootin' tootin' great meal, let Jesse James prepare your next lunch. He's got a menu chock full of fresh cooked burgers, fresh salads, hot dogs made any way you like, taco salads, specialty burgers, sandwiches, french fries, and onion rings. Enjoy refreshing milkshakes, Coke floats, or a cone of hand-dipped ice cream. Open Monday through Saturday, 11 to 4, closed Wednesdays and Sundays. Jesse James Railroad Express, 531 Railroad Avenue in Rutherfordton. Call 447-4644. And don't forget the 99-cent hot dogs with mustard, chili, and onions on Mondays only.
Let's get started now with our call around the county news report, find out what's been going on while we slept, most of it. And now here is Deputy Greenway from the Sheriff's Department to give us that update. Good morning. How you doing this morning?
Doing good, sir. Hope you're doing good.
I am doing well, thank you. It's a Friday. I like Fridays.
Yeah.
What's on the report?
So, last 24 hours we had 148 calls, made 10 arrests, and there's currently 186 in the jail. Of our incident reports, we had a Charles Bradley reported a breaking and entering and larceny. Dollar General in Ellenboro reported a shoplifting. Nancy Murray reported an incident of felony larceny. James Morrison reported obtaining property by false pretense and identity theft. Anthony Hefner reported an incident of larceny of firearm. Moving along to our arrest reports, we had Jason Poteet was arrested for shoplifting. Sonia Price arrested for failure to appear on misdemeanor. Joshua Wood was arrested for failure to appear on misdemeanor. Ryan Ghost was reported for failure to appear on misdemeanor. And Nicole Ferron was arrested for assault and battery. And that completes our morning report.
Deputy Greenway, do appreciate that. You have a great weekend and be safe.
Thank you. You too.
Right, bye-bye. Well, the Forest City Police Department, deputies are still searching for the suspect who fatally shot a Forest City man early Tuesday morning. Andrew Franklin Hodge, 33 of Union Mills, remains on the run after he allegedly fired a 9mm handgun into a residence, killing Thomas C. Liebel, 33. Deputies responded to a 5:01 a.m. call of a shooting at 150 Candy Turf. When officers arrived 10 minutes later, they found Liebel deceased with a gunshot wound to the head. He was lying partly over the couch and partly on the floor. No one else inside the residence when deputies arrived. However, investigators learned at least 3 men were inside the mobile home at the time of the shooting, according to Sheriff Francis. The investigation quickly identified Hodge as the shooter. While outside the residence, Hodge reportedly fired multiple rounds into a single wide trailer, with one bullet entering a window and the other through a wall. Liebel lived at the residence with his father, a long-haul truck driver who was not at home at the time. The trailer is located north of Forest City off Whiteside Road. Anyone with information on the whereabouts of Hodges is asked to contact the Rutherford County Sheriff's Office at 286-2911. And here is Emily with our report from 911 Communications. Emily, how you doing this morning?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. What's on your report?
In the past 24 hours, Rutherford County Sheriff's Office and 911 Communications has processed 532 911 calls and administrative calls, which consisted of EMS and Rescue had 68 for emergency medical service and 14 for rescue. Law enforcement, there was 148 for the Sheriff's Office, 65 for Forest City, 17 for Lake Lore, 30 for Rutherfordton, and 71 for Spindale. Fire calls, Ellenborough responded to a residential fire alarm. Green Hill responded to a residential fire alarm. And Rutherford responded to a motor vehicle accident, and that's all I have.
Thank you so much. Enjoy your day.
You too.
Bye. Well, I found a suspect hiding behind a false wall, too. According to the Rutherford County Sheriff's Office, 43-year-old Bobby Ray King Jr. was wanted by officials in Brunswick County. Law enforcement tracked King to a home on Pool Road. Deputies went into the home after a standoff lasted a couple of hours and found nobody inside. The Sheriff's Office said after further research of the property, they found King hiding behind a false wall in the home, and he was taken into custody after an exciting few hours here in this county this past week. 20 minutes after 7, we're going now to Ruby Taylor's place and check out what's been happening with the SDO Fire District. Ruby, good morning.
Good morning.
What's on your report?
The fire department didn't have any calls. And on my birthday calendar today, I've got Brian Baynard and Reverend Ron Wilkins having birthdays today. Hope they have a nice day. Tomorrow, Jeff Hall. Hope he has a nice day. Then Sunday, Bryson Murray, Isaac Queen, Harrison Wilkerson, and Shirley Sims has birthday Sunday. And hope all these people have a nice day. And the signs are in the neck today, tomorrow, and Sunday all. And Sulphur Springs Baptist Church will be having a Bible school beginning Monday, August the 2nd, through the 6th. And it will start at 6 p.m. and go until 8:30 p.m. And the title of the school is Incredible Race. Supper will be served and all children are welcome. And Jim, that's all I've got.
Ruby, I hope you have a nice day, and I'll see you next time.
You too.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Enjoying music, hanging out with friends, church picnics, fishing, and playing in the creeks and streams of our beautiful mountains. This is summer in western North Carolina. Getting vaccinated brings us one step closer to enjoying all of that and more. In fact, it's our best shot at getting back to normal. Let's give it a shot, WNC, and bring back summer together. Get vaccinated today. Visit myspot.nc.gov to find your best shot. That's myspot.nc.gov.
We head up to Fairfield Mountains Fire District now, and we have Gary Wilson to give us a report on the phone. And Gary Wilson, good morning.
Good morning, Jim. How you doing?
Well, I'm doing great. It's finally Friday, friend.
Finally is. I think we brought it in early yesterday. We had about 3 calls in the last 24 hours. Ain't had much rest in the neighborhood overnight. We had a big old tree fell yesterday afternoon late, and had Buffalo Shoals blocked off, and us in Lake Lure had to sit there and direct traffic for a couple, 3 hours till DOT could get it out of the road, and then got called out again about 1 o'clock this morning for well, let's see, no, that was the second one. The second one was about 10 and 11 o'clock. We got called out for a transformer fire and power line fire with a tree on it, and sit there and nursed it till Duke got there. And by the time they got there on that one, about 1 o'clock this morning, we had another call for smoke and erosions, and somebody decided they needed a fire in their fireplace.
Oh, my goodness.
At 1 o'clock in the morning, forgot to open their damper, so.
Oh, my goodness. As warm as it is, they needed a fire in the fireplace. Isn't that something?
I could have done without the fire last night at all. It's been warm overnight and warm right now. I don't think I've ever seen it 81 degrees at 7 o'clock in the morning. But that's what it is up here.
I know.
And got a breeze blowing, but it ain't no cooling. It's a hot breeze out there this morning. Maybe we'll get a little break this weekend. They're talking about in the temperatures. I think we could use one about now.
Yes.
And that's about it up here right now. We're hoping the rest of the day will be quieter.
Well, I hope so. Hope they can get some rest now after being up all night. So you guys have a safe weekend up there, and I'll talk to you again real soon. See you, Gary.
All right, you have a good one too, Jim.
Right, bye-bye. Gary Wilson reporting out of the Fairfield Mountains Fire District and also looking after Beals Creek. Well, I'm going to give you the Reader's Digest version of what the governor said yesterday. It's much longer than this, and I'll maybe have time during the 8 o'clock hour to give you longer. But Governor Cooper and North Carolina Department of Health and Human Services Secretary Mandy Cohen announced yesterday afternoon that state government would begin verifying vaccination status of its workers. Employees not vaccinated will be required to wear a mask and be tested at least once weekly. The announcement comes as North Carolina's latest upswing on COVID-19 cases and hospitalization is driven by unvaccinated North Carolinians. So if you're a state employee and you have not been vaccinated, you'll be tested every week. Be tested every week, at least once weekly anyway. That's the Reader's Digest version of what he said. There's more to it, but I'll give you that later on. Here's Bob Hodge now reporting from Hudlow Fire District. Good morning, Bob.
Well, good Friday morning.
Hey, like this cool morning we've got started for you.
Oh, it started out cool, but it ain't long. It'll get hot again there.
Oh, boy.
But we got little cloudy skies up here this morning, so that'll hold it temperature down for a while maybe, so that clears out. But it got hot as a firecracker yesterday there.
Boy, it did.
But
well, that heat index today, Bob, may be about 101, 102 today, so it's going to be another smother heat weather today.
Yeah, another muggy day there. That's what they talk about. But I'm looking forward to that cooler weather they say we might have next week. So
that'll be a break.
Be down to low 80s and things, so that'll feel good. But Jim, up here with the fire department overnight, it's pretty quiet. We made one medical call, and that's about it. And things are running along good. And I want to say happy birthday Saturday to Andy Walker. He's our fire chief there. And other than that, Jim, I hope you have a good weekend.
Thanks, Bob. You and Imogene have a good one, too, and try to find a cool spot and enjoy it. I'll see you next time.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye. 26 minutes after 7.
It can be a tough call when it comes time to provide a daycare service for an aging parent or loved one. You can always depend on Rutherford Life Services for a safe facility that offers medical monitoring, nutritional meals, fun activities, and is a loving environment. Rutherford Life is licensed by the State of North Carolina Division of Aging. They will be glad to answer any questions you may have. Call them at 288-1697. Rutherford Life Services offers a trained staff of professionals who you can entrust your loved one to. Rutherford Life Services is located at 230 Fairground Road in Spindale.
Let me brag on Hutchins Pest Control a minute. Don't let the pest bug you when Hutchins Pest Control is as close as a phone call. Honest, dependable, professional, and on-time service may be the reason they keep getting voted best pest control. If you have a pest problem, call this family-run business at 287-5171. Licensed in North and South Carolina and fully insured and bonded. Get a free estimate when you call Hutchins Pest Control and be sure the job is done right. That's Hutchins Pest Control. Call them today at 287-5171 and they'll be right there. 27 after 7 o'clock and we're 77 degrees. Let's move over toward the Cherry Mountain Fire District, find out what's been happening over there overnight. And Sue Price is on the phone to give us that update. Good morning, Sue.
Good morning, Jim.
You cool enough over there?
Well, it's nice right now, but it's going to be another hot day, isn't it?
It is.
Mercy. And if you got anything you need to do in July, you better get with it because it's about gone, isn't it?
It's running out fast.
Mercy, these months are passing by in a hurry. But that's okay. No, I don't have any calls from the fire department. I don't have a single birthday or anniversary on either one of my calendars, so it's just one of those days that is quiet and nothing going on. But we're looking forward to the weekend and hope it won't be too bad hot, but it looks like it's going to be pretty rough. So everybody stay cool if you can, and if you know your neighbor or anybody that doesn't have a fan or anything, maybe you could help them out. It's
good idea.
Too bad to be without one now. But that's just all the news I got, Jim. Nothing going on, and we like it that way. And I hope you and Faye will have a good weekend.
Thanks. I appreciate you keeping it quiet over there, and we'll see you next time.
All right. Bye-bye.
This hot weather is always good to know about some friends like these guys. Imagine being surrounded by comfort. At Immaculate Heating and Air Conditioning, they offer ultimate home comfort by Coleman. They will install a Coleman high-efficiency heating and cooling system and handle any service and maintenance, all for one low monthly payment with zero out-of-pocket costs for 10 years. That's right, 10 years with no service or repair fees, no maintenance fees, no unexpected cost at all. ultimate home comfort. It's more comfort all around. Contact Nathan Blackburn at 828-755-5788. That's 755-5788, or visit ImmaculateHeatingandAir.com. A lot of things happening in Rutherford County, Forest City area. We're happy to announce a lot of folks are coming to this area for various reasons. And the Cycle North Carolina is headed to Forest City and Rutherford County for Cycle North Carolina Weekend Mountain Ride, slated for August 6th through the 8th. The event was originally planned to be held the same time weekend last year, but was postponed due to the coronavirus pandemic. Registration for the 2021 event is still open at www.ncsports.org. The mountain ride annually brings in over 300 cyclists to participate in a fully supported weekend of summer cycling along the scenic mountain bike roads in the region. Lake Lure, Tryon, Brevard, and Bryson City have all hosted the event in the past. This will be Forest City's first time to host it. So we're looking forward to that. I hope you will be too, and welcome these cyclists as they come into town. All right, let's keep moving around the county till we find out what else is going on around the area. Is this Tina?
This is Tina this morning. Happy Friday.
Happy Friday to you as well. It is good to be Friday again.
Mm-hmm, it is. So I've heard some people saying it's kind of cool this morning. When I opened the door to walk out about 6 this morning, I felt like I was walking into a warm kitchen.
I know the feeling.
What's going on around here?
I'll tell you. I remember. It's too bad we don't have those. You're probably too young to remember these, but they used to have ice houses where people didn't have freezers and refrigerators to make their own ice. They had ice houses, and you go to the ice house and make a big chunk of ice and bring it to your house and put it in a big tin tub, and that way you chunk off your ice if you needed some for your tea or something like that. But we need a big chunk of ice from the ice house to put on our back porch so we can just go sit on it.
Whew. Yesterday was so warm. At the camp, I told everybody stay hydrated, stay out of the direct sunlight, but still be camping and playing and having fun. And I didn't have any incidents of dehydration or heat stroke, any of that. So I'm very thankful.
Good.
Those campers listened. They listened.
Good.
So hopefully they'll do it again today. And we'll get a break for a couple of days, or for a day and a half. And next week's the last week at South Mountain Christian Camp for our campers. And it's been a good summer. It's been a great summer. Now let's talk about Shingle Hollow.
All right.
So Shingle Hollow Fire Department didn't have any calls in the past 24 hours. Green Hill Fire Department had a residential fire alarm. There are no birthdays on the birthday calendars. In ways of announcements, Bible School tonight is commencement for Piney Knobs Vacation Bible School, and they will be having barbecue. All starts at 6 tonight. And then next week, there will be revival going on from August 1st to the 4th. Brother Alan Laws will be bringing the message. And then mark your calendars for Sunday, August 22nd at 6 p.m. The John Lancaster family will be singing during the p.m. service. And Pilgrim Way Baptist Church is also going to be having revival and Bible school together Sunday, August 1st through Wednesday, August 4th at 7 p.m. each night. Evangelist Mike Bagwell of Tunnel Hill, Georgia will be bringing the message. And Vacation Bible School will be for birth to 8th grade. And there will be special singing every night, so that's going to be exciting too. And our community is a little sad this week. We lost a member of our community, Mr. Creed Jackson, and he's going to be buried today. But we know that he is home and with our Lord Jesus. But we're giving out our sympathies, Christian love to the community, to the family. It's a little sad.
Yes, a lot of folks knew Creed very well.
Oh, he's such a wonderful fella, and you could just see Jesus light through him. And that's just the type of man he was, and I'm very thankful that I got to know him.
All right, anything else going on?
that's all we got right now. So I will talk to Todd, I guess, tomorrow, and I'll talk to you Monday. And everybody stay safe, hydrated, and cool. And like Sue said, check on your neighbors because it's a hot one.
That's right, Tina. You have a good one, too, and I'll see you next time.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye. 7:35 right now. It's warm weather, but high school football in Rutherford County will be kicking off here pretty soon. Can you believe it is almost football season time? Yep. About August the 20th is season opener for high school football, and maybe, just maybe by then, temperature will slow down a little bit.
It's our 30th anniversary, but you get the gifts. That's right, Carolina West Wireless is celebrating our anniversary and celebrating you in a big way with incredible savings, like $350 off a new iPhone 12 or a $150 credit when you bring in your own device. And as our special gift to you, get an additional $30 off any other device promo in our store. Stop by today and let's celebrate our 30th anniversary together. Carolina West Wireless, celebrating 30, celebrating you. Certain restrictions apply. See store for details or visit carolinawest.com/terms and conditions.
Jim, have you seen Henson Building Materials' newly remodeled showroom? It's gorgeous.
You mean where they have a full line of hardware and building materials for homeowners and home builders?
I mean where Jamie, Terry, and Tony, their friendly staff, treat me like family. Oh, they're so nice.
Hey, are they taking COVID precautions and have curbside service?
Of course. They're so thoughtful.
I do need some materials, but I don't think they'll fit in our car.
Oh, silly. They have professional delivery so we can get whatever I want.
And some building materials, 177 Duke Street in Forest City.
Building starts here.
All right, at 7:36, let's head up to Union Mills to get the Kelly report from nobody else but Brenda Kelly. Good morning.
Good morning. How are you on this fabulous Friday hot morning?
Looking to get outside in the sun and just sweat all day.
I hear you. I forget who I was talking to one day this week, talking about how in the world did we ever make it back when we was growing up and we didn't have air conditioning, and very few people had fans. You just opened the windows and used them funeral home fans.
Yeah, that's true. You know, I just don't believe it was humid back then as it is now, though.
I don't think it was either. I can remember working all day long out in the fields, hoeing cotton, picking cotton, hoeing corn, and picking corn, and then let it dry and make the fodder bales out of it. And of course, every day at 12 o'clock, we got an hour break. We got to go play in the creek.
But I do remember it being hot. I do remember homemade iced tea being the best in the world at that time.
Yeah, and homemade ice cream.
Yes.
And it wasn't electric churn; it was one you turned.
Hand crank kind, yeah.
Yeah, them was the days.
Absolutely.
But we hope everybody's doing okay this morning, and just find a cool place later on in the day and just hang out there. I've got 68 degrees on the front porch. I've got one birthday, and that's Lois Condor. So we hope Aunt Lois has a great day today. And in ways of announcements, July the 31st, 9:30 a.m. to 3 p.m., Corinth Baptist Church, Vacation Bible School, ages 3 through the 6th grade. This is at 767 Pinehurst Road, Ellenboro. Then we got Vacation Bible School, Saturday, July the 31st, starts at 9 a.m. and goes to 2 p.m., and that's at Far City Church of the Nazarene. Then on July the 31st, we got a memorial service for Johnny Bolton. That'll be at 11 o'clock at the First Baptist Church in Ruffton. Then on August the 6th, Carly Airwood Band, 7 p.m., Union Mills Learning Center. Saturday, August the 7th, ASI Alumni Reunion starts at 10 a.m., annual meeting at 3 p.m. Sunday, August the 8th, ASI luncheon available for the cost of the meal. Reverend John Cope will lead service, and all alumni events will be held at the Union Mills Learning Center. And other than that, I don't have nothing.
John Boland's part of your family, right?
Yeah, he's my brother-in-law. He was my brother-in-law.
That's what I was thinking, yeah.
Yeah. And they never could get it together to have a memorial service because of COVID. So when it started going down, they planned this, and now it started going back up.
Yep.
So who knows?
Yep. You know,
I don't.
Who knows? That's right. If we knew the answers, everybody would be wanting to have questions, wouldn't they?
If I knew the answers, I'd be richer than Bezos.
Well, we're breathing a sigh of relief around here now. We got our journal's finished up and down to the publishers,
good.
printers, and we should have those back to us by next week and out in the mail next week. So we're happy.
I always look forward to those. They have a lot of information in them.
They do, and this one is going to be loaded with it. So we're looking forward to getting them out as quickly as possible. A little earlier than usual because the things came together pretty good. So we're tickled about that.
Yeah, that's good. You didn't have no bumps in the road.
No, well, we did have a few, but we got started early enough that we could overcome them. There's always a few bumps in the road when you're putting a project together like that, but we appreciate all the folks who participated in that with us, and we're looking forward to getting it out in the homes and the hands of people across the fruited plain.
And when you read yours, don't throw it away. Pass it on to somebody else.
That's exactly right.
20,000
is a lot to go out, but even with 20,000, there's still folks who don't get them. So we pass them on to your neighbor if they don't get one, that type thing.
That's right, yeah.
And a lot of people hold on to them anyway because of the pictures that they have a grandchild or granddaughter in there, so they want to hold on to that for a while.
Yeah,
so.
you have to keep that.
Yeah.
You was talking about the pictures. I know you got to go to Ellenburg, but my nephew called me this week to finalize everything on the memorial service. This is his dad. And he was talking about, I said, do I need to take any of my pictures? He said, well, and he started telling me all the pictures he had. And he said, there's one in there of a Halloween with a big old hat made out, it's got orange papers in it. And that was when I was living in Virginia. And I told my sister, I said, let's dress the children up and take them to the mall for the Halloween thing, and maybe they'll win. And she said, well, I ain't got nothing to put on. It was Steve. And I said, well, take you some chicken wire and shape it like a pumpkin and stick orange napkins in it and put a green in the middle for the stem. And I said, I'm going to make Timothy a clown suit. Well, guess who won? The pumpkin with the...
Really?
I didn't.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. He was telling me about that picture.
Those are memories for sure.
Yeah, you keep things like that. And I said, well, I had a part in it. I was the one to come up with the idea.
That's right.
But you better go check on Luther.
Have a good weekend, Brenda.
Catch you later.
Bye.
Another season has come and gone, and you're still looking at that same sad-looking sofa or recliner. Well, now's the time to change the inside of your home to look as pretty as the spring and summer colors outside. And the perfect place to start is the Recliner Center. Right now at the Recliner Center, everything is 20% off. That's 20% off sofas, recliners, sofa recliners. If someone you love is having trouble standing, the Recliner Center has all lift chairs on sale for 10% off. All lift chairs, 10% off. Now, some of these chairs can take you from a standing position, then safely back down to a sitting position with no effort on your part whatsoever. Angela is cleaning out merchandise to make room for more. So now's your chance to redecorate your home and take advantage of the great savings at the Recliner Center. All lift chairs, 10% off. Everything else is 20% off. Angela is seeing folks by appointment only, so call 828-395-3562. Call her today. The Recliner Center. They're on Cooper's Gap Road in Rutherfordton.
Nobody gets a better deal than the customers at Sisk Family Ford. They have a proven record of the best deals. Sisk Family Ford, Rutherford County's only locally owned new car dealer, has recently been recognized as the #1 Ford dealer in customer satisfaction in the Southeast. That speaks well of their commitment to serve their customers well. Come take advantage of the springtime sales event and get the automobile you've been wanting. Look for all the new design 2021 F-150 at Rutherford County's only locally owned new car dealership. That's Sisk Family Ford, Oak Street, Forest City. We wouldn't be completed with this call-around news report without a stop in Ellenboro, and that's where we'll find Luther Gilligan, the spokesperson for this morning's segment. Luther, good morning.
Good morning, you two. Hope you're having a good day.
My day's off to a great start. How about you?
Hey, I'm having a good time down here.
Good. You got
a whole lot going on.
You got a cool spot you're in?
Sort of cool.
Good.
Not hot. Of course, it's not got hot yet, though.
Yep.
It'll get that way. But not a whole lot going on down here. Everybody's just trying to get this last day of the weekend. Looking forward to a weekend. You see, the fire department only had one call. That was about 2 o'clock this morning. They went down to Cleveland County, but they were down there about, about 5 minutes, and they got canceled on it. So other than that, things are quiet. There's nothing going on down here. So you have a great day up there. Enjoy your weekend. We'll talk to you Monday.
You be safe over there, and I'll see you next time.
All right, take care now.
Bye. Luther Gilligan reporting out of Ellen. That wraps our news up for the call-around portion of this morning report. And now we'll occupy some time for birthdays and anniversaries. So if you're celebrating on this 30th day of July, now is the time to call that into us so we can celebrate with you, give you a big shout-out. Birthdays and anniversaries at 287-3356. Call now.
Does your financial advisor take the time to really listen to you? Is your financial strategy personalized for you and your family? Will your financial advisor be there as your life and financial situation change? Hi, I'm Andrew Tisdale, your local Edward Jones financial advisor. When we work together, we focus what's important to you. We create a personalized strategy backed by our advice, our tools, and resources to help you reach your goals. And we partner together to help your strategy stay on track no matter what happens. Contact me at any time at 828-287-9197. We'll sit down, talk, and we're going to make a strategy that's right for you.
I'm happy to share good news with you. If you have a septic tank on your property, you'll be glad to know there is a new professional pumper in town, Mid-South Pumping, owned and operated by one of our own, John Torvinen. Mid-South Pumping serves local communities such as Rutherford, Polk, Cleveland, McDowell, and Lake Lure, offering a wide variety of services at affordable prices. Get it done before summer gets here and really gets bad, if you know what I mean. Mid-South Pumping offers around-the-clock services to ensure your business doesn't become everyone else's. Count on Mid-South Pumping for pumping septic tanks, locating services, uncovering septic tank lids, and more. Make that call to Mid-South Pumping in Rutherfordton at 828-755-6280.
Thinking about the departure of a loved one through death is a subject we don't like to talk about. However, pre-planning or prepaying for a funeral is a consideration and responsible thing to do. With so many options available today, it's important to speak with someone you can trust and someone who can help you find a balance between the emotional, spiritual, and financial needs of your loved ones. Crow's Mortuary and Crematory is recognized as one of the best family-run funeral homes. It's a family tradition, and they know how to care for your family. Any questions you might have, they will be happy to answer. Call Crow's Mortuary and Cremation Services at 286-2304.
Farmers Friend Feed, Seed, and Supply is a variety store. Here's why I say that. Cedar shavings, 5.0 cubic feet, $7.99 per bag. They have Pontiac red potatoes, Kennebec potatoes, $18 for 50 pound. River Run dog food, specially priced. Plenty of horse quality hay. Refill propane, $10.99 for a 20-pound tank. Wrangler Sweet Feed, $8.69 for the 50-pound bag. Cardinal Tissue and Paper Towels, 6-pack, $4.49. Farmers Friend Feed, City and Supply is the largest farm supply store, and you should come and see how much you can save. 188 Whiteside Road, Rutherfordton.
Farm Bureau Insurance doesn't hire celebrities to push auto coverage. We think people might like to make decisions based on service and savings, not just because that guy from that show says it's a good idea. Instead of faces you know from your TV, we offer faces you know from your neighborhood, because we're headquartered in North Carolina with local agents right in your town. That's really the only thing we want to be famous for. North Carolina Farm Bureau Insurance. Helping you is what we do best.
In Rutherford County, please call 287-2428.
North Carolina Farm Bureau Mutual Insurance Company, Farm Bureau Insurance of North Carolina, Inc., Southern Farm Bureau Life Insurance Company, Jackson, Mississippi, an independent licensee of the Blue Cross and Blue Shield Association.
Your car's best friend can be RS Speedy Lube Service Center. That's because RS Speedy Lube Service Center and Car Wash can keep your car or truck running clean with a regular oil change. They check the fluids and vacuum out the car and have you on your way in no time. Go next door for a radiator or transmission flush. Brakes, exhaust, CV joints, and service for big trucks and campers also available. Pull next door to the RS Speedy Automatic Car Wash and make your car happy with a clean, all under and all over car wash. It's all at RS Service Center and Car Wash on Railroad Avenue in Rutherfordton.
Well, if Friday night is movie pizza night at your house, you want to call Granny B's and order one of those Granny B's pizza combos. They are delicious, and you'll be glad you had them at your house. So why not call them and make your order? Here's the number to call, 286-9012, 286-9012. And you'll never go back to the others once you've had a Granny B's combo pizza. And sure, you can save a little room for one of Granny B's Daylight Donuts. That'll be great to top that off. Granny B's, right Main Street there in Spindale.
Happy birthday.
Jeffrey McCraw's having a birthday today, and Cooper Massengill also celebrating today. So happy birthday to these folks, and thanks for letting us share your birthday with our listening audience. Now stand by for Keys to Confident Living. We'll take you down memory lane for just a couple of songs from the 50s. And see how much you like it. We'll be back after that.
A lady was shopping in a busy downtown area when she noticed a small child selling newspapers. The selling of the papers was not so unusual, but the way he was dressed was. It was a wet and cold day, and the boy was dressed with thin, bare clothes. He had no shoes, so he wrapped plastic bags around his socks to keep his feet dry. The lady felt so sorry for the boy. She persuaded the little boy to go with her to a clothing store, where she fitted him with some new clothes, a new pair of shoes, and socks. The little boy was so excited that he jumped up and down and then ran out of the store. He hadn't taken time to say thank you to the lady, but she sensed that his nonverbal expression was his way of saying thank you. The lady came to the same area several weeks later and again saw the boy selling papers, but this time he was wearing the warm clothes and the shoes that she had provided. When the little boy saw her, he recognized her and asked, "Lady, are you God's mother?" "No," she replied, "but I am one of his children." The little boy thought a moment and then said, "I knew you were related to God somehow." God has no hands but our hands, and he has no feet but our feet. As his children, our joy is to extend the work of his kingdom to a needy world. The help you provide may not be to a hungry child or a homeless person, but there are people all around us who need what we can give. Wouldn't it be encouraging to hear them say, "I just knew you were related to God somehow"? This is Bill Hostler with today's Key to Confident Living.
WCAB.
from ABC News. I'm Brian Clark. Fresh concerns about the Delta variant of COVID-19 after a CDC report obtained by the Washington Post says that variant spreads as easily as the chicken pox. But Dr. Ashish Jha, dean of the Brown University School of Public Health, tells ABC that report does not contain solely bad news.
This report confirms what we have known, which is if you are vaccinated, your chances of getting really sick, hospitalized, or dying is incredibly, incredibly low. So the vaccines are working. I think people should feel good about that.
President Biden Thursday called on more people to get vaccinated. And when he talked about the concept of wearing masks in schools this year, he said schools have to stay open.
We can and we must open schools this fall, full time. It's better for our children's mental and emotional well-being, and we can't afford another year out of the classroom.
Nationwide moratorium on evictions ends this weekend. It's a precarious situation for people like Terriana Clark of Louisiana. She's unemployed and caring for her children.
The money that Congress did put aside to help renters during...
I'm trying to feed them. I'm trying to survive on the bare minimum of the unemployment.
An extension, though, requires an act of Congress. And ABC's Rachel Scott's on Capitol Hill and says lawmakers are scrambling to put together a plan, even though other issues have emerged.
The money that Congress did put aside to help renters during the pandemic is not going out fast enough. Of the $47 billion available, only $3 billion has actually been distributed. Some states say that they are struggling to keep up with the amount of requests. They're having a hard time streamlining the process.
President Biden meets with governors of western states impacted by wildfires today at the White House. At least 5 people were hurt when reported tornadoes moved through Pennsylvania and New Jersey. There's extreme heat expected today for large parts of the country. You're listening to ABC News.
Do you check your Google search results regularly? You should. People often get their first impression of you or your business online. Negative comments on the internet can impact your life and your livelihood. Take control of your online reputation. Get your free reputation report card at reputationdefender.com. It may reveal negative posts from an ex-employee, upset patient or client, news article, legal issue, or even exposed personal information right there in your Google search results. Uncover what's lurking on the internet about you with reputationdefender.com's patented scan and get your free reputation report card. Or for immediate assistance with your reputation, call 800-401-6681. Our cutting-edge technology helps make your Google search results look their best. Call 800-401-6681. That's 800-401-6681. 800-401-6681. Or take the free scan at reputationdefender.com.
First Lady Jill Biden making a trip to the hospital.
The First Lady's office says Dr. Jill Biden underwent a successful procedure on her left foot Thursday night at Walter Reed National Military Medical Center. Medical staff there flushed out debris from a puncture wound she sustained in Hawaii last weekend. But her office says it's unclear what object on the beach caused the puncture. President Biden went to Walter Reed Thursday night while the First Lady was being treated. Her spokesman said she's free of infection, and doctors anticipate the wound will heal nicely. Karen Travers, ABC News, Washington.
Former Senator Carl Levin of Michigan, the longest-serving senator from Michigan, has died. He was first elected in 1978 and served until 2014 when he decided not to run for re-election. Carl Levin was 87 years old. Star of Black Widow Scarlett Johansson is suing Disney, the parent company of ABC News. She says the decision to release the Marvel Moving On streaming the same day it was out in theaters ate into the box office take and her salary, since that's based on box office numbers. Disney says it had to release the movie on streaming too because of the pandemic. And it's sentencing day for the first person in Hong Kong convicted under a strict new national security law. There have been fears that pro-democracy protester Tong Yin Kit would be sentenced to life after being convicted of terrorism for riding a motorcycle into a group of cops and flying a flag calling for the liberation of Hong Kong. He was sentenced to 9 years behind bars. This is ABC News.
Think about it. The pandemic's reminded us that the nose is your body's filter against a constant invasion of airborne germs. But like any filter, the more it's clogged up, the less it works. Now it's easy to clean your nose with Navage. Navage uses powered suction to flush out germs that cause congestion, or worse, can make you very sick. People love Navage. It has 4.7 stars with over 70,000 online reviews. Go to Navage.com or find Navage at Walgreens, CVS, Rite Aid, Target, Bed Bath, and select Walmarts.
Brian Clark, ABC News.
Hello everyone, we made it to a Friday and it's another hot day today with highs in the low to mid 90s. Feeling hotter though this afternoon with heat index values ranging from 100 to 107 degrees in some areas this afternoon. We'll see some showers and thunderstorms pop up for today. Some of those have that chance to be strong to severe. We'll see more rain this evening, then dry for Saturday. Saturday afternoon our highs are cooler and back in the 80s. More rain and storms on Sunday. I'm meteorologist Zach Moloch in the Weather Center.
According to our temperature reading, it's 75. We started out at 77. It has dropped a couple, but it'll be climbing back up pretty soon because we're going up into the 90 range. About midnight is 95 for our expected stopping place with the heat index around 101. Chance of precip today about 30%. It's cloudy out there right now. It looks like it could start raining, but it's my earlier indications on my one of my apps. It said it's supposed to rain around 9 o'clock this morning, but there's no evidence here on my printed form exactly when that might be. But we'll watch that weather. It's crazy this time of year anyway, so we'll keep watching, keep you posted. But the main thing is to keep aware of is that the humidity heat index up to over 100 today. So keep that in mind and keep your neighbors in mind. If you have elderly neighbors that live by themselves, be sure to check on them. It's important that they stay hydrated and know what's happening and get them some ventilation, some air circulating if at all possible. 6 minutes after 8, we'll have the sheriff's report this hour and some news from here and there, all straight ahead.
It's our 30th anniversary, but you get the gifts. That's right, Carolina West Wireless is celebrating our anniversary and celebrating you in a big way with incredible savings, like $350 off a new iPhone 12 or a $150 credit when you bring in your own device. And as our special gift to you, get an additional $30 off any other device promo in our store. Stop by today and let's celebrate our 30th anniversary together. Carolina West Wireless, celebrating 30, celebrating you. Certain restrictions apply. See store for details or visit carolinawest.com/terms and conditions.
Sounds like something on TV, but they actually arrested a man. Rutherford County officials arrested a man hid behind a false door. According to the Rutherford County Sheriff's Office, 43-year-old Bobby Ray King Jr. was wanted by officials in Brunswick County, and law enforcement tracked King to a home on Pool Road here in Rutherford County. Deputies went into the home after a standoff lasted a couple of hours and found nobody inside. The Sheriff's Office said after further research of the property, they found King hiding behind a false wall in the home, and he was taken into custody. Meanwhile, deputies are still searching for the suspect who fatally shot a 4A City man early Tuesday morning. Andrew Franklin Hodge, 33 of Union Mills, remains on the run after he allegedly fired a 9mm handgun into a residence, killing Thomas C. Leibel, 33. Sheriff Francis said of Hodge, "We're still tracking this man down. We're investigating all of his known locations." Deputies responded to a 5:01 a.m. call of a shooting at 150 Candy Turf, the residence of Leibel. When officers arrived 10 minutes later, they found Leibel deceased with a gunshot wound to the head. He was lying partly on the couch and partly on the floor, Francis said. No one else was inside the residence when deputies arrived. However, investigators learned at least 3 men were inside the mobile home at the time of the shooting. The investigation quickly identified Hodge as the shooter. While outside the residence, Hodge reportedly fired multiple rounds into the single-wide trailer, with one bullet entering a window and the other through a wall. Francis said, we've had multiple scenarios as to why Hodge was upset with one or more of the folks inside, adding the shooting was an intentional act. We believe Hodge knew of the layout of the house, Sheriff said. Leibel lived at the residence with his father, a long-haul truck driver who was not at home at the time. The trailer is located north of Forest City off Whiteside Road. Anyone with information on the whereabouts of Hodge is asked to contact the Rutherford County Sheriff's Office at 828-286-2911 or the Rutherford County Crime Stoppers number at 286-TIPS. Well, the governor spoke yesterday. When the governor speaks, people generally listen. Unvaccinated state employees are required to wear a mask and be tested at least once a week. Governor Roy Cooper and North Carolina Department of Health and Human Services Secretary Mandy Cohen announced yesterday afternoon that state government would begin verifying vaccination status of its workers. They're going to check on you now. Employees not vaccinated will be required to wear a mask and be tested at least once weekly. The announcement comes as North Carolina's latest upswing in COVID-19 cases and hospitalizations is driven by unvaccinated North Carolinians. The governor said until more people get the vaccine, we will continue living with the very real threat of serious disease, and we will continue to see more dangerous and contagious variants like Delta, he said. North Carolina Department of Health and Human Services updated guidance encourages private sector businesses to, at a minimum, verify vaccination status for their workers as well. The requirements for state government employees applies to cabinet agencies and is included in Executive Order 224. Dr. Cohen said there is only one way out of this pandemic, and that is vaccination. Our trends are accelerating at an alarming fast rate, and the highest rates of viral spread are happening in areas with low vaccination rates and among those who are not fully vaccinated. If you are already vaccinated, I call on you to urge your unvaccinated family and friends to get their shots now. It's not an underestimate to say, it's not an understatement to say that you will save lives by doing so, end quote. You should spy on your neighbors and spy on your family and spy on your friends. Make sure they abide by these regulations. The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention issued new mask guidance this week based on levels of transmission in communities. With a high rate of community spread, the CDC is recommending the vaccinated residents in Rutherford County to wear masks to reduce the spread of the Delta variant of the COVID-19 virus. More than half of the state's counties are experiencing a similar rate of spread. Additionally, in accordance with the updated CDC guidance, all K-12 schools should require universal masking, regardless of vaccination status. North Carolina Department of Health and Human Services is updating its guidance for schools to align with this recommendation. Tamika Walker Kelly, president of the North Carolina Association of Educators, applauded the governor's decision. To date, North Carolina has administered nearly 9.8 million doses of the COVID-19 vaccine, with 57% of the adult population fully vaccinated. 61% of adults have received at least one dose of the vaccine, including 86% of North Carolinians 65 and over. So that's where they're going at this point. They're not closing anybody down at this point, but at least not in North Carolina. But the problem with what they're saying is folks are going to get scared to go out again, even with masks, even with vaccination. They're going to get scared to go out again, which means the businesses are going to suffer again because nobody's getting out to go to the business. The restaurants are going to suffer because people are going to be afraid to go out. So it's going to serve a bad purpose in doing this all over again, because we went through one phase of that, and businesses were hurt across North Carolina, across the nation, as a matter of fact, and just now beginning to come back alive and regroup and almost like starting over again. Now, they're not saying businesses shut down. They're not saying stand 6 feet apart, but they're saying wear your mask and get your shot. So, and they talk everything about it, and people are getting scared again, and they're going to start staying in again, and that's going to hurt everything. Anyway, don't get me started on all that. Anyway, Forest City is going to be set to host Cycle NC Mountain Ride. Cycle North Carolina is headed to Forest City and Rutherford County for Cycle North Carolina Weekend Mountain Ride, slated for August 6th, 7th, and 8th. The event was originally planned to be held the same weekend in 2020, but was postponed due to the coronavirus. Registration for the 2021 event is still open at www.ncsports.org. The mountain ride annually brings in over 300 cyclists to participate in a fully supported weekend of summer cycling along the scenic mountain back roads in the region. Lake Lure, Tryon, Brevard, and Bryson City have all hosted the event. This is the Forest City's first time hosting the event. The cyclists typically hail from over 20 states and range in age from 13 to 80. The weekend will offer 2 days of cycling, plus many off-the-bike activities and opportunities to explore Forest City, Rutherford County, and Polk County towns. Some of these options include the Thermal Belt Rail Trail, unique shops, restaurants, visitor attractions, such as Timber Rock, the Tryon Equestrian Center, Over Mountain Vineyards, hiking, mountain biking, and many others. Participants will enjoy meals and entertainment throughout Rutherford County. Which brings to mind, folks, we got all these visitors coming in. So we ask you, please help keep our city clean. Pick up litter. Don't throw litter out. Keep it clean so these folks, when they come to the area, they'll be proud to know that they've been to Forest City and Rutherford County. So help keep our city clean. 15 after 8 o'clock, Here's something that is a little bit disturbing for those folks who believe in education choice of education. The unclaimed, no, that's not it. That's not the story I'm going to. Here's the other one. Here it is. Let me see if I can flip over. We got everything stuck together. Here it is. Congress is seeking to cut $40 million from charter schools. The U.S. House Appropriation Committee voted to cut $40 million from the federal charter schools program in a major policy shift away from the bipartisan support that charter schools have enjoyed in recent years. In addition to the funding cut, the move would prohibit federal funding for charter schools that contract with a for-profit entity to operate, oversee, and manage the activities of the school, a move that would hamstring the ability of many charter schools to operate. Rutherford County is home to two charter schools, Thomas Jefferson Classical Academy and Lake Lure Classical Academy. Legislation House Resolution 4502 has drawn sharp criticism from charter school advocates who say Congress is seeking to kneecap charters even as demand for educational alternatives spikes across the nation. More and more people are wanting education choices, which is a great thing, nothing to take away from public schools at all, but parents, grandparents should have that choice of where they want to send their student, and our Congress is trying to take that choice away from them. The goal of this legislation is to affirm Democratic Party allegiance to teacher unions, which have declared war on school choice generally and charter schools specifically. According to Dr. Terry Stoops, director of the Center for Effective Education and at the John Locke Foundation, Stoops said traditional public schools also contract with for-profit entities for services, so singling out charters in the legislation is unfair. Republicans in the U.S. House are mounting an effort to defend charters. North Carolina Representative Patrick McHenry and Madison Cawthorn, the 10th and 11th congressional congressman, have signed on to an amendment that would eliminate the funding cut and the new regulations. The budget cut would come as demand for charter schools is at an all-time high in North Carolina. While traditional public school experiences a 5% drop in enrollment during the pandemic, charter school enrollments leaped by 7.7%, and homeschooling bumped up there as well. If they go this route with charter schools, if they stay in control, the next thing the liberals will want to do is take away any provision for homeschooling, and they'll defy them to having that kind of credibility. According to the National School Choice Advocacy Organization, 68.7% of charter school students are minorities, and an estimated 1.2 million of the 3.3 million charter students are at or below the federal poverty level. Another 300,000 students have special needs or disabilities. In Congress, in all their wisdom under the leadership of Nancy Pelosi, is trying to cut $40 million from charter schools. Isn't that sad? And I don't have time to go into it, but this infrastructure bill they just passed, or attempting to pass, millions of it is going to Nancy Pelosi's hometown to build a crosswalk or overpass bridge. And part of them is going into several of those leaders in there to personal projects in their own home district. Doesn't affect the nation, only those home districts of these liberal Democrats. Wanting to spend our money on their own home projects. 18 minutes after 8 o'clock, Sheriff's Report coming up here in just a moment.
Smith's Drugs of Forest City would like to thank all who participated in this year's Meet Me at the Fountain 5K race. This year's beneficiaries were the Cystic Fibrosis Foundation, the Chase Corner Ministries, and the Yoke Fellow Service Center. Many thanks go out to the Bostic Florist, Trinity Christian School, Gilkey Lumber, Forest City Welding, Main Street Swimmer, 113 Event Venue, RS Speedy, Ken Rogers Sales, and thanks to Andrew of Event Mercenaries for the promotion, run timing, and management of the online sign-up of participants. Thanks again to all who participated at the Meet Me at the Fountain 5K run from all of us here at Smith's Drugs of Forest City.
For a delicious meal every day, call on Gregory's Original. Choose from their top menu of burgers, subs, grinders, pasta dishes, fresh salads, and so much more. All dishes are prepared fresh daily. Hours are Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. until 9 p.m., Saturday, noon until 9 p.m. Now at Gregory's, try the family-style meals. The dining room is now open, but curbside and takeout is still available. Enjoy lunch or dinner today with your favorite meal from Gregory's. Call 287-2171, located in the Park Lane Plaza in Rutherford's Gregory's Original.
Hello, this is Dwayne Hunt with Insurance Service Associates. Are you on disability? Or maybe you're on Medicare? Or maybe both? Come see me, Dwayne Hunt, at Insurance Service Associates about a Medicare Advantage product brought to you by Humana. Please give me a call, 245-5301, at Insurance Service Associates, 127 East Trade Street, Forest City.
With an impressive roster of explosive young superstars and the reigning MVP, the Atlanta Braves are showing the East what they're made of.
1-1 on the way. He connects, and it's a high fly ball to deep right field, way back towards the seats, and this ball is gone!
Tonight, the Braves are back in town for another big National League matchup with the NL Central Milwaukee Brewers, live from Atlanta. Braves Radio's on the air at 6:05 Eastern, 5:05 Central on the Braves Radio Network.
20 minutes after 8 o'clock, Deputy Greenway was with us earlier this morning from the Sheriff's Department to give us a report from over there, and we recorded that, Booger, for broadcast at this time. Now, here he is, Deputy Greenway.
Last 24 hours, we had 148 calls, made 10 arrests, and there's currently 186 in the jail. Of our incident reports, we had a Charles Bradley reported breaking and entering and larceny. Dollar General in Ellenboro reported a shoplifting. Nancy Murray reported an incident of felony larceny. James Morrison reported obtaining property by false pretense and identity theft. Anthony Hafner reported an incident of larceny of firearm. Moving along to our arrest reports, we had Jason Poteet was arrested for shoplifting. Sonia Price arrested for failure to appear on misdemeanor. Joshua Wood was arrested for failure to appear on misdemeanor. Ryan Ghost was reported for failure to appear on misdemeanor. And Nicole Ferron was arrested for assault and battery. That completes our morning report.
Thank you very much, Deputy Greenway. Here's an interesting, I love this kind of story for North Carolina. Sports coming up here in just a minute, by the way. Index has ranked North Carolina tourists among the most polite in America. Pick up any travel guide and you'll most likely find a section dedicated to a range of specific cultural quirks which you would do well to study prior to embarking on a multi-destination trip. Indeed, a wrong-hand gesture or comment may turn into a situation ugly. For example, who would have thought that people from Hong Kong hate to be winked at? Or that a smiling Japanese person isn't necessarily happy? When it comes to international travel, it is a long-standing and perhaps unfair stereotype that American tourists have few social graces, characterized as being loud and obnoxious. This perception may be changing in post-COVID times as international destinations long for American tourists, but how do we fare within our own borders? Vacation Deal website devised a tourist politeness index to ascertain, state by state, which Americans have the best and worst reputations when they vacation domestically. They surveyed 3,000 people and asked respondents to evaluate tourist politeness on a scale from 1 to 10. It was discovered that the most polite tourist hailed from Alaska, ranking a strong 8/10 for their travel manners. Known as being pretty laid back, it's perhaps not surprising Alaska travelers rank so highly the good people of the last frontier also know how to travel. North Carolina ranked among the most polite tourists in America, in second place, following closely behind Alaska. The least polite tourists, however, were from Washington State, who ranked just 4 out of 10. While the Evergreen State might consistently rank highly when it comes to environmentally friendly states, its reputation when it comes to friendliness does take a significant dip. It also appears Americans have a less than positive view of their fellow countrymen when they travel abroad. Less than half think that American tourists abroad are polite and therefore do not represent their country well, which influences a sizable 68% of respondents to confess that they'd avoid going to a foreign destination. So finally, 38% admit they actually miss America when they were abroad. So I'm glad America is up there in the second place, being friendly when you travel abroad. So let's keep that up and be friendly to these folks that are coming in, visiting with us on bicycles, coming in here in a few days. Make Rutherford County one of the friendliest places I ever visited. Sports is coming up here in just a few minutes. and then Word of Faith Fellowship at the bottom of the hour. Have a great weekend, folks. I'll see you next week.
NCN Sports, I'm Josh Zach. We go halfway across the world this morning to talk about Olympic tennis and how there will be no Golden Slam for Novak Djokovic.
It is a major upset here. Novak Djokovic of Serbia, the world's #1 player, is out after losing his semifinal match. Djokovic was going for a Golden Slam, trying to win all 4 Grand Slam events in the same year, plus capture the Olympic gold in singles. It's only been done once before by Steffi Graf in 1988. Djokovic will get a bronze medal, and he still has a chance for gold in the mixed doubles competition. Steve Futterman, CBS News, at the Summer Olympics in Tokyo.
Coming thousands of miles back to the U.S., where the NBA draft was held last night, and Commissioner Adam Silver on ESPN opening the festivities by announcing the overall #1 selection.
With the first pick in the 2021 NBA draft, the Detroit Pistons select Cade Cunningham from Oklahoma State University.
The Rockets used the second selection on G Leaguer Jalen Green, and Cleveland picked third, choosing USC's Evan Mobley. Charlotte GM Mitch Kupchak was busy before and after last night's draft. The Hornets selected guard James Bouknight from Connecticut with the 11th overall pick, a player that he said he didn't expect to see available when their turn came up. Kupchak talked about where Bouknight might fit into the lineup.
James can probably play the 3 positions. He's an excellent athlete. He moves his feet well. He can probably guard 3 positions, and I would imagine, at least starting out, he would play the 2-3.
Kupchak also acquired a pair of centers via trade. Former Blue Devil Mason Plumlee is coming to Charlotte from a trade with Detroit. The Hornets also traded away a future first-rounder to the Knicks for 19th overall pick Texas center Kai Jones. Those deals made according to a source who spoke anonymously because those trades have not yet been made official. This is NCN Sports.
This is a big deal. Now, at healthcare.gov, millions more people can afford health coverage. Due to the COVID relief law, 4 out of 5 customers can get a plan for under $10 a month with financial help. From doctor visits to preventive services to prescription drugs, these are quality plans. You can do this. You can have coverage as soon as August 1st if you sign up now at healthcare.gov, paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
What's your favorite season? Summer, fall? Well, for next year, why not make your favorite season the most exciting season of all? Boating season. It's a time of early morning casts and all-day cruises. Barbecues on the sandbar and sunsets over the lakeshore. The best way to make sure you're ready for next year's boating season is by stopping by your Mercury Marine authorized dealer today.
Visit Kennedy's Sports Center or Battle Cycles and Marine in Wilmington. Ask them how you can power next year's boating adventures with Mercury Marine.
There was a blockbuster trade during the NBA draft last night as the Lakers acquired all-star point guard Russell Westbrook from Washington for 3 players in this year's first-round pick. Atlanta bolstered their front court by selecting Duke forward Jalen Johnson with the 20th overall selection. The 6'9" forward played only 13 games as a freshman at Duke last season before opting out. Phoenix used the 29th pick on North Carolina big man Day'Ron Sharpe, but traded his rights to Brooklyn in a deal to land shooting guard Landry Shamet. SEC University presidents voted to invite Big 12 members Texas and Oklahoma to the league and create a 16-team powerhouse. The vote came 2 days after the Longhorns and Sooners requested to join the SEC in 2025 when the school's media rights and agreements with the Big 12 expire. There is a possibility, though, that they could join the SEC earlier if they can negotiate a buyout with the conference and ESPN. Josh Zakin.
Hello, everyone. We made it to a Friday, and it's another hot day today with highs in the low to mid-90s. Feeling hotter, though, this afternoon with heat index values ranging from 100 to 107 degrees in some areas this afternoon. We'll see some showers and thunderstorms pop up for today. Some of those have that chance to be strong to severe. We'll see more rain this evening, then dry for Saturday. Saturday afternoon, our highs are cooler and back in the 80s. More rain and storms on Sunday. I'm meteorologist Zach Malak in the Weather Center.
Cloudy skies, 7 to 5 degrees outside. It's time now for the Word of Faith program. With today's program is Jessica Farmer.
Good morning and welcome to our Word of Faith radio program. My name is Jessica, and it's good to be back with you this morning sharing the good news of the gospel of Jesus Christ, sharing how God is changing our lives. He's doing a mighty work in our hearts, and we're glad to be with you. This morning, I'd like to start out in song. This song has been on my heart. It is a cry. It is about the end times, and it is about what we see in our world every day around us. And a cry in our heart that we must know him. We've got to know him. We truly are a desperate people. So as I sing, open your heart and let the words speak to you as they have been me.
We are a desperate people, living in desperate times, with a hunger and thirst only God can satisfy. You are the living water. You are the bread of life. We are a desperate people, oh God. Hear our desperate cry. Oh God, we must know you. We must know your ways. Oh God, we must know you in these final days. False prophets prophesy peace where there is no peace at all. Idols of men at the altars of God. There's sin in the camp of the Lord. Oh God, we must know you. We must know your ways. Oh God, we must know you in these final days. Lovers of evil, haters of good, take pleasure where sin abounds. Strong seduction, deception, and lies. Hear our righteous cry. Oh God, we must know you. We must know your ways. Oh God, we must know you in these final days. This is a warning to all who will hear. Fear God and walk in his ways. Love him and serve him with all of your heart. This is the only way. Oh God, we must know you. We must know your ways. Oh God, we must know you in these final days. In these days of great falling away, the love of many wax cold, and men's hearts fail them for fear. The day of the Lord is near. Oh God, we must know you. We must know your ways. Oh God, we must know you in these final days. Oh God, we must know you. We must know your ways. Oh God, we must know you in these final days.
Truly, we have got to have that cry in our heart every day, because we are living in a time when it is a serious day and a serious hour. And I have been in 2 Thessalonians chapter 2 and chapter 1, and it gives us a strong warning. And what I want to talk to you about this morning, because God has been speaking to me about it and speaking deep in my heart about the fact that we had better keep the day of the Lord in our heart. It is coming. It is almost here. The signs of the times are everywhere. And in the last days, God will do a mighty work in the church. And it describes this in the second book that Paul wrote to the church of the Thessalonians. And it describes the persecution that's going to take place. But it describes the church. It describes those that will obey and will believe the message. And it says, when Jesus comes to be glorified in his saints on that day, he will be made more glorious in his consecrated people, and he will be marveled at and admired in his glory, reflected in all those who believe, who have adhered to, trusted in, and relied on him because of our witnessing among you. You know, it's so good to share the gospel. It's so good to share what God's speaking in our hearts. It keeps it fresh and sharp in us, and it keeps it fresh in the minds and the hearts of the people that we love around us. We have got to keep Jesus coming back, heaven or hell. That's the choice. That's the only choice. That is the result of the decisions that we are going to make on this earth. And that's who Jesus is coming back for. He's coming back for those that are going to be consecrated and glorify him and cause him to be admired. Why? Because they believe, adhere to, and trust in and rely on him. And that's so good. And in verse 11 of chapter 1, it says, with this in view, and that is what we need to do, is keep this in view. Keep it in view in your life every single day. Do you walk through your day and realize the choices I make today determine my future? They determine my eternity with God or with the devil in torment and in hell. And it says that with this in view, we pray for you that God may deem and count you worthy of your calling and his every gracious purpose of goodness. And with power may complete you in every particular work of faith. There's that believing again. It's so important. If God says it, it will come to pass. We must believe it. It begins to work in us and change us when we do believe it. Every work of faith, it says. Faith, which is that leaning of the entire human personality on God in absolute trust and confidence in his power, in his wisdom, and in his goodness. May the name of the Lord Jesus Christ be glorified. May the name of the Lord Jesus Christ be glorified among us today, in our lives, in our hearts, in what we say, in what we do. And it goes on in chapter 2, and it says, but relative to the coming of our Lord Jesus Christ, the Messiah, and our gathering together to meet him, I beg you, brethren, do not allow your minds to be quickly unsettled and disturbed, or kept excited and alarmed, whether it be by some pretended revelation of the Spirit, or by word or letter alleged to be from us, to the effect that the day of the Lord has already arrived and is here. Apparently that's what was going on in that day. But this is where we're getting to. Verse 3. Let no one deceive or beguile you in any way. And that's what I want to talk to you mostly about this morning. Let no one deceive or beguile you in any way. And I want to go through the scriptures with us this morning briefly about what are the things that bring deception in our life, because that is so real and it is so dangerous. The one thing that should be in our hearts is that cry, I've got to know you, Jesus, because we do not want to be deceived in this end times. In our world around us, there is so much information and so much being put out there and said, and everybody thinks they have the right way, and everybody thinks their way is right. How are we to know? But we can trust in the all-powerful, all-wise God. We can trust in him. We can trust in his word. He will speak to us. He will reveal his will to us. And it says, don't allow anyone to deceive you. And if you look up those words in the Strong's, the word deceived is to deceive by tactics such as seduction, giving distorted impressions, or luring into deception. And we can see it throughout the scriptures. The master of deception is Satan himself. That's all he has, is deception. He has no power over you. He has no power whatsoever in this earth unless we give our will to him. If we refuse to give our will to him, how do I know that? Because Jesus walked the face of the earth just like that. And he said to his disciples, Satan is coming, but he has no power over me because he has nothing in common with me. And how he gets something in common in us is by us giving our will to him. And we're going to learn about that, how that happens today. But this giving distorted impressions, that's what the devil does. He may take the word of God. He may take something God spoke to you or something you see in the scripture, and he'll twist it and distort it just a little bit. Enough to get you to still continue to receive it and accept and believe it, but enough to make you doubt, enough to make you wonder. If he can just begin to get you to wonder, he begins to have a hook in you to deceive you and to lead you down the wrong path. To begin to have that common ground with you. To begin to have that power over you and that deception on you. It also is used, it says luring into deception. And this is used many times in a sensual manner. This appeals to the personal desires and it appeals to pleasure. So many times the devil does exactly that. He is going to appeal to that, what you like, what you want, what makes you happy, what makes you feel good. When all the while God created us to be a vessel to do his will every single day. And those things that we like and we want will begin to line up with God's will for our life if we bow our knee and we truly let Jesus come into our life and we're truly born again. If you study the scriptures out, they're very clear about the process of being truly born again. The Holy Spirit of God comes and lives on the inside of you. Why? Because he teaches you and instructs you. This is of God. This is Jesus. This is not of God. Don't do that. Don't say that. And it's so good to live that way. It feels so good to know you're pleasing God. You're in the right path. Deception feels terrible. It makes you feel lost. We'll see in a minute, it makes you feel hopeless. We don't want to be deceived. And it's so subtle, the little steps that Satan tells you to do. He can't get you maybe to go out some far place and get you to do some serious, terrible thing. But he works on you step by step, day by day. But if you let God, so does he, in a mighty, much more mighty way. So it says here, and this is one reason we need to be so careful not to be deceived in our lives, to seek out what truth is, to cry out to God to know him, to cry out, we've got to know you, Jesus. We're desperate. To realize your need for God. So much of the tactic of the devil is to make us just indifferent. This is the way I am. Look, this is the way I think. Like it or leave it. The devil's got you. We've got to seek truth. We've got to seek the will of God. If you cry out, if you lay on your face and humble your heart and cry out to him, God, I need you. I don't even want to change. Please put it in a desire in my heart. He will meet you right where you are, and he will begin to change your life. It says here, the day of the Lord will not come except the apostasy comes first, unless the predicted great falling away of those who profess to be Christians has come, and the man of lawlessness is revealed, who is the son of doom and perdition. What is this great falling away? We don't want to be a part of it. We don't want to become deceived. We don't want to become a part of the great falling away by choosing our sin and our pleasure and what we desire over God, by choosing when God speaks not to believe. That's a major thing. By choosing when God speaks not to obey. Those are the things that we will read on to see will bring major deception upon us. It says the son of perdition. Well, who is this? It's who opposes and exalts himself so proudly and insolently against and over all that is called God. That's what's at work in the world today. Satan is working on a much more accelerated timetable than ever before. He knows his time is short. And he's working to exalt himself in this earth against everything that is called God. We see so much sin and evil being exalted as the right way, as the accepted way in our world around us. So he's proud, he's insolent. He exalts himself against that which is called God, even to his actually taking his seat in the temple of God and proclaiming himself as God. Right now, he's working in the world, Satan is, to deceive people, to get them primed and ready to go with the false religion, false lies, deception. If you believe one, you'll believe the next. We've got to cry out every day for God to uproot it out of our heart, for God to teach us his way, for God to show us we've got to know him. We have got to know him. And now you know that it says in verse 6, what is restraining him from being revealed at this time? It is so that he may be manifested and revealed in his appointed time. See, God's in control. He's being restrained to a certain degree at this time. But God is in control of everything. And just believe it and don't ever forget it. God is in control. For the mystery of lawlessness, that hidden principle of rebellion, we've got to go after rebellion in us in any way. If the word of the Lord comes forth and you just don't like it, you read it in the scripture and you just don't like it, well, that's that mystery of lawlessness, that principle of rebellion at work in us. We cannot afford it. And it's against constituted authority. It's already at work in the world, it says. But it is restrained only until he who restrains it is taken away. And then the lawless one, the Antichrist, will be revealed, and the Lord Jesus Christ will slay him with the breath of his mouth and bring him to an end by his appearing at his coming. Think of that day. I want to be on the Lord's side on that day. Nothing in this fleeting life will have any bearing, will mean anything to you on the day that you stand before the Almighty God, because we all will. It says every knee will bow and every tongue will confess, and there will be a day of judgment. There will be. I want to be on the Lord's side. I want to be pleasing to him. The coming of the lawless one in verse 9, it will be attended, and the activity of and working of Satan will be attended by great power and with all sorts of pretended miracles, signs, the derived marvels. All of them will be lying wonders. It's coming. It's here and it's coming. We better know the difference. We better cry out to know the difference, because if you marvel at his lying wonders, he will have power and control over you. By unlimited seduction to evil with all wicked deception for those who are perishing, going to perdition because they, why? What makes us perish? What makes us go to perdition right here? Because they did not welcome the truth, but they refused to love it, that they might be saved by it. The truth will set us free. The truth will deliver us. Jesus is truth. Jesus is the word, and he will deliver us. Therefore, what happens is, when you reject the Son of God, when you reject his words, God sends upon them a misleading influence, a working of error. It begins to work in your life. It beclouds your thinking. And things that happen every day, you can't see it the way God sees it anymore. You see it the way the devil sees it. A working of error. In order that all may be judged and condemned who did not believe and refused to adhere to and trust in and rely on the truth, but instead took pleasure in unrighteousness. It's so important that we cry out to God. If there are things in our hearts that we know don't please God, but we still want them, we can cry out and He will deliver us. He will change us. He will do it. Ephesians 5, verse 6, again, when you think of being deceived, well, I didn't know, or I was blinded. How can I be held responsible for that? But what does it say in the scripture? Do not allow yourself to be deceived. It says it here in Ephesians 5, verse 6. Let no one delude you and deceive you with empty excuses and groundless arguments. For these things, and it had listed evil and sinning above, it says the wrath of God comes upon the sons of rebellion and disobedience. It is a reality. The wrath of God will come on those. The mercy of God is here. His word is here on this earth. But there'll come a day when the church will be gone. The tribulation, the great tribulation will be here. And what will we do when the end comes, the Bible says? How does this work in us? We've got to find out. Look in the scriptures to find out how that deception begins to operate. The best and first example is Genesis 3. The very first time this ever began to work, that it recorded in scripture, in history, in the mankind, is in Genesis 3. Verse 1. Now the serpent was more subtle and crafty than any living creature of the field which the Lord God had made. And Satan said to the woman, now we know the background here. God creates a beautiful garden, and Adam and Eve are in his presence every day, fellowshipping with him, communing with him. This is the way God ordained it to be. But he said, the one thing he said was, you can eat of any tree of the garden, but of the tree in the middle, do not eat of that tree, because in the day that you eat of that tree, you will surely die. And that's a strong word. And you can see here when we read through this, Eve knew that. She knew it strong. She had it firm in her heart until she began to listen to the beguiler, the deceiver. And it says, he came to her and he said, can it really be that God has said? First of all, causing you to doubt. Second of all, he's going to distort what God says. You shall not eat of every tree in the garden. And the woman said to the serpent, if it's anything else besides what Jesus gave us the example in Matthew 4, be gone, Satan. If you say anything else to him, that's the beginning of your downfall. The woman said to the serpent, we may eat of the tree from the garden. We may eat of the fruit from the trees of the garden, except the fruit of the tree which is in the middle of the garden. God has said, you shall not eat of it, neither will you touch it, lest you die. That's where her heart was. That's where she stayed. But the serpent said to the woman, you shall not surely die. There he is, twisting what God said, distorting what God said. For God knows that in the day that you eat of it, your eyes will be open, and you will be like God, knowing the difference between good and evil, blessing and calamity. Now what happens next? When the woman saw that the tree was good, that's how that devil comes to us to deceive us. When she saw that tree was good, she began to believe everything that devil told her. She was deceived. She saw the tree was good and that it would be delightful, that it was delightful to look at, and the tree would be desirable in order to make one wise. She took and she ate of it. That's how the devil works in us. That's exactly how he does. And it's so important that we cry out to God, that we recognize that devil's tactics, because this scripture has been speaking to me and speaking to me in 2 Corinthians 11. It is so true. It says, Paul says, for I am fearful. And we need to have the fear of God. But he says, I am fearful lest that even as the serpent beguiled Eve by his cunning, so your minds may be corrupted. That's what he does. He gets into your mind and corrupts your mind. Seduced away from wholehearted and sincere, pure devotion to Jesus. And that's what we have to have. Jesus wants a relationship with every part of us, our whole heart. And you can see in the beginning, that's what Eve had. No, God said, we are not to touch that tree. She knew the word of the Lord. But because he got her through his tactics, she began to believe what he said, and she did what God said not to. This is what happens right here. Satan corrupts our minds. He seduces us away from wholehearted, sincere, pure devotion to Christ. It says in verse 4, for you seem readily to endure it if a man comes and preaches another Jesus, another gospel than the one we preach. Or you receive a different spirit from the spirit that you once received, a different gospel from the one you once received. You tolerate it too well. You welcome the deception. And that's where it comes down to. We cannot tolerate for a moment. We must be lovers of truth. We must love the truth. Because, see, deception is misleading, deluding, beguiling, leading astray. It means to frustrate, usually by means of underhandedness. It implies imposing a false idea that causes ignorance. When Eve believed his false idea, she was totally ignorant. God is the one who's almighty, all-powerful, and all-knowing. He is Lord. And it brings ignorance, bewilderment, and hopelessness. I'll tell you. And that's just the Merriam-Webster's definition of deception. And we want to be, we don't want to be deceived in these end times. The day of the Lord is coming, and we must remember it. And our sin, in Hebrews 3:13, it tells where the delusive glamour of sin deceives us. And when that devil throws that delusive glamour of sin, oh, that looks good. And you look at it and you think, I want that. I mean, the Bible says the eye is the lamp of the body. What you give your eye to, what you give your will to, that's what you become. And that's what you end up becoming a slave to. And you're so deceived that when the true way comes, even to deliver you, you can't see it. You can't find it. You can't know it. You reject it. Just like it said in 2 Thessalonians chapter 2. Our sin makes a separation between us and our God. Obadiah says the pride of your own heart deceives you if you think a little bit more of yourself than you ought. And so those are some things to think about. Revelation 12 tells us the end of the deceiver is God is going to destroy him with the breath of his nostrils. I want to be on the Lord's side. There's too much evidence to doubt it. It's going to happen. Jesus will come back. He will destroy that deluder, that deceiver with the breath of his nostrils in his timing according to his plan. I want to be on the Lord's side. Cry out today. We don't want to be deceived. We don't want a delusion, a beclouding. We don't want Satan to be able to enter our heart through that. Satan entered Judas's heart through a thought in his mind. Think about that today as you go. Don't allow Satan to play his tactics on you today. If you cry out to God, he'll be there for you. Thank you so much for listening and tuning in with us. We, Word of Faith, are here with you every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 8:30 to 9. And you can also look at our other radio programs. They're on our website, www.wordoffaithfellowship.org. Thank you so much and have a great day.
WCAB.
From ABC News, I'm Brian Clark. As the U.S. arrives at a new point of the pandemic, President Biden said Thursday,
people are dying and will die who don't have to die. If you're out there unvaccinated,